So nice to meet you, Hasan.
Thank you very much.
I really enjoyed the President's cake. So I was wondering, like, where did the idea come from? Because it's like overlook of tragedy and like the Hussein's regime, but from the point of view of a little kid. So I think it's very important to show this innocence, this kind of like lightness and like light in the middle of the tragedy. So what was the main idea to make this movie?
The main idea, I mean, is largely inspired by my childhood memories growing up in Iraq, and every year the teacher would come in with this ball, and students would throw their names in, and then he would pick the names responsible for bringing birthday items for Saddam Hussein's birthday celebration, and it just felt like it's very organic and spontaneous story to tell. It's the part of, especially as a first feature, you want to tell stories that you are familiar with characters, world, themes that you are discussing. And for me, this was a film that I just felt comfortable in telling the story of.
It's not only your first feature, it's also the first film from Iraq to premiere at Cannes. I don't know how it feels for you as a first-time director to be in such a big like venue, and like not also like it's the biggest festival in the world, but it's also in terms of being in the newspapers, being in the news, all the resonance that the movie has had after Cannes.
Yeah, I mean it is a very it is very thrilling and such an honorable thing to play in Le Cannes and be the first Iraqi film also to be awarded at Cannes. So all of this is such a thrilling experience and overwhelming and humbling too, because it spotlights the film, it spotlights the filmmakers behind the film, and at the same time it puts you on puts so much responsibility on you, and it raises the expectation, it raises the hope for the next project. But I believe it not only did that, but I think it spotlighted being in Cannes and receiving these awards, also spotlighted the country and encouraged the artists from Iraq to also come forward and tell their own stories with their own voices. Mm-hmm. That was very important too, and but it is something really almost indescribable of what that means and feels, especially for your first feature. I was on the stage when Mr. Panahi said that he won the same award 30 years ago, and after that it was very hard for him to make second feature because everybody has higher expectations.
They always say that the second feature is the hardest to make.
They always say something like, sometimes it's like the first feature is the hardest, the second becomes easier. Then when you make the first feature, it's like, oh, the second is actually the hardest because the first is
Everyone's looking at you like, yeah.
I think every feature is an uphill battle. Every feature is difficult to make. Every feature is, especially it's like working from scratch again. So I don't think there's an easy feature and a difficult feature. But I hope that now there are more resources that I can use or tap into in making my next project.
I really enjoy that we see this little girl struggling to like find common things like food and like things that we have in our like daily life, but like in the society in Iraq, it's really difficult to find these things. So it's a more like grounded form, a more grounded way of like depicting a society. I don't know if that was your main intention, like your main goal with making this like cake, let's say, with like trying to find the ingredients to make this cake to show like common things, daily life.
Yeah, I mean, I always was fascinated with film or literature about the kind of work that is simple in premise, but it takes you into a deep journey and a thoughtful journey about the society, about the people, and about the time and the period that the story takes place. So yes, it's definitely the cake is a journey. It's a device that, like, in a way, takes you through all this dive deep into the country and the society in Iraq.
How was it working with a little girl? Because they always say that you shouldn't work either with kids or animals, and
Yeah.
here you have both in this movie. And I reckon it must be difficult for you as a director to like show her like the importance of the story that you're telling through her vision.
Uh, it's very difficult to work with, so many elements in the first feature, especially in the first feature. But I had a great cast. I was lucky with my Hindi or the rooster. Things come together in a way when you try to be authentic in the storytelling that you're doing. Uh, it's oh, sorry, I blacked out. What was the question?
Working with a kid, how was it like to work with the kid?
With the
Like,
kids. Yeah, okay. I thought it was a different question. Working with the kids is very enjoyable, and in a way, they are very smart. You don't need to talk to them as kids. They understand. They have the emotional intelligence and social intelligence to understand what's happening. And explaining to them about the period was great, but like, I wanted to make it tangible to them. And because of that, I drew on my own experience. Even though I knew Saddam and he was a dictator and I was afraid of him and all, but really Saddam was represented to me in my teacher. He was the one who was imposing these rules. He was the one that I was afraid of him to, kind of report you to the authority or something like that. And the fear of teacher is tangible for these kids. They understand what that means. So, you want to materialize the elements in the film for them, because intellectualizing is usually not helpful, especially for non-professional actors.
I don't know if while making the film you also felt this. You were saying you were afraid when all the things with the dictatorship were happening. I don't know if you like felt again this tragedy, this fear while making the film. If it resonated with you once again.
In what way you mean?
Like bringing back memories from your childhood and like feeling the same way you felt when you were a kid and all the tragedy that you were living through.
Definitely there are the memories that got triggered, and especially like when you see you making a film that undertakes the country and then, like it explores the country and the dictatorship, and then you look and you wonder, it's like, oh, what if like the Saddam, what if Saddam knew I would grow up and make this film about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at the same time, you even with the extras and the background actors, or like even the actors, you hear this kind of comments. It's like emotional for them. Like we had people crying on set because a certain scene or a certain dialogue really triggered them and reminded them of themselves or their children, and we had that. So it is making films is emotional process, but like when it's something about your own memories, your own trauma, it's even more.
Yeah. I think this is a very important movie because it shows that we shouldn't forget about the past in order to like move forward.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was something that you wanted to show given the situation that we're living in right now.
When I wrote this film, it was not this situation didn't exist. So when I was making the film, this situation happened. The world became much darker suddenly, but that's because it's like humanity has failed to produce more efficient, more humane tools to advance diplomacy, to advance dialogue, conversation, and to discuss the injustice that's happening around the world.
Mm-hmm.
The film resonates because of that. That we are still using the same inhumane way to punish people collaterally, and put them under sanctions. Sanctions didn't hurt Saddam, and his family. They still ate very well, traveled, did everything they wanted. But it hurt the everyday people. And the film explores that element in from a child perspective.
As a director, as a first-time filmmaker, what was the hardest part for you to, in the movie, like to make in the movie? What was the thing that you were more afraid about? I don't know if it was one day on set where like the takes were difficult for you, or like some aspects with the actors.
Everything, honestly. Like, I mean, putting Saddam's portraits
Yeah.
in some scenes because it's triggering you, or putting portraits of a dictator in a country that, you know, it's not public too, in a public place. It's not easy. You have, you know, it can be triggering, and it did do that. Also, some scenes with crowds, that was a lot of work too. You know, like we had the parade scene, that was a lot of protesters, you know, in the scene. Actually, we shot that scene, and when we finished, we went back, and then suddenly my phone was buzzing, and it turns out that people were on the set, and or like from different apartments of buildings have shot the protest and posted it on social media, and suddenly everyone was saying that Saddam's supporters took over Baghdad Street for a couple of hours. So, you know, this kind of challenges that you face and come that you didn't even were aware of. You know what I mean? You were not even aware of. But yeah, challenges could be in the scene, could be behind the scene. It could be actors. It could be technical. Emotional, you know, all of these. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this, like, what this first feature has taught you in order to like continue your career, to make new movies. Like, what's the main thing that you have taken from this film in order to continue to pursue your career as a director?
That you really have to love the story, the characters to make this film, any film. Because there are so many challenges, there are so many drawbacks, there are so many things that really pushes you away from making the film. And the only thing that brings you back is the passion to tell the story, is the love to the characters, is the love to share such film with the audience. Other than that, it's a very, very difficult thing to do.
They always say that you need a passion and a good script
Yeah.
to make a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I think this movie has both of those things. And how long did it take for you to write this story, to create this story? Or what was the process of
I started writing the script during the pandemic.
Okay.
Like after 6 months, 8 months of the pandemic passed, I started writing the story, the script. The first draft didn't take so long, but you know, you keep changing until literally on the moment that you're shooting.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing that you're changing the scene or the dialogue or something, because you know, you come to the set, or like when I was in the pre-production, I realized one thing, which is like, you have a script, that's a great blueprint, but now we are in real life, and real life and the script sometimes not are unmatching.
It's not the same, yeah.
So you need to allow life to breathe into it, you know, and that, you know, allowed us to explore different locations, to explore different elements of the characters, and you know, then that required changes, that required to change the scenes, to change some prospect of the characters and all of that. So it, like, overall it took like multiple years to get to where we got in the film.
Mm-hmm. You were talking about the script and how it changes when you're on set, and also in the editing.
Yeah.
I reckon it must be really different. Like, all three processes are like different things. I don't know how much the movie has changed from script till editing for you. If you have the same view of the movie that you wanted to portray, or if it's shifted in some way.
It depends. Sometimes, you know, you write in the editing. Sometimes, you know, you
Okay.
rewrite the film in the editing.
So you were thinking about it already, about the editing.
I think we shot the film in a way that is like, in the editing room we were confident about our choices, and so we really didn't have to, you know, explore, like discover the film again in the editing room. Obviously there are scenes you need to cut them and make them in a certain way or something like that, but like overall I think my initial perception of the film is very similar to the final product.
Mhm. You were talking about Panahi before.
Yeah.
He when he leaves the U.S., he has to go back to jail because of
Yeah.
the movie he made. I don't know if it's something that triggered you when you were making this story, like that you can be kind of punished for like portraying this tragedy, for portraying this dictatorship.
Yeah. I don't think like I mean the thing is like in Iraq we don't. It crosses your mind sometimes that it could be something that upsets some people, like not people like us as an audience, but like political regimes.
Your own censorship. Also,
Yeah, in a way, but the censorship people or like the politicians or something like that. But again, it's your obsession in a way to tell story, a certain thing. It keeps you making decisions that are usually are not taken if you didn't have that kind of obsession. It's a gamble, and you need to take the gamble. Again, I don't think we are in the same situation as Panahi in Iran, because it's a very different set of circumstances. But the whole region has this kind of fragile attitude towards political subjects. And eventually you just have to find a way to work around it.
Yeah, that's why we need movies like this to get made.
Thank you.
You were in Hollywood for a few months for the Oscars and all the nominations. How is the experience there? Because people always say that it's quite crazy, that you have to do a lot of interviews, like a lot of screenings and things like that. How was your experience there in Hollywood with this first feature?
I mean, I don't know if I was in Hollywood. I was in New York, LA, that's kind of, it is, it gives you need to look at it from a perspective that it gives you a chance to spotlight the film for people around the world, especially people, who are involved in the academy voting and things like that. And that gives you a chance to, spread the film into other circles that usually the films might not have been, might have not been able to reach. So you take it in that way, because you cannot think about the wars and in a certain way, because you don't make the films for the wars. You make the films for yourself and the audience and the reception, and that what really matters. So I took this as an opportunity in a way to expand the word of mouth about the film, to have the film accessing more people around the globe, especially people in the academy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.